Most people believe they have a financial plan. What they actually have is a list of intentions dressed up as one. And right now, while you're watching this, the gap between those two things is quietly costing you. There's a very specific kind of exhaustion that comes from working hard and still feeling financially exposed. You're not careless with money, you're not living lavishly. You earn a real income, you track your spending at least somewhat, and you tell yourself you're doing the right things. But somewhere underneath all of that, there's a feeling you can't quite name. Like you're moving forward without knowing exactly where you are. Like the ground beneath your financial life could shift at any moment, and you wouldn't see it coming until it already had. That feeling isn't irrational. According to a 2025 survey, 77% of Americans don't feel completely financially secure. And here's the detail most financial content skips over. It's rarely because people don't earn enough. It's because they're navigating without a map. Real treasure maps don't just show you where the gold is buried. The most important information on any serious navigation chart is everything else: the reef that will split your hull open, the current that will drag you off course, the passage that looks safe but runs directly into the rocks. The treasure is just a dot on the page. The map exists to show you what stands between where you are right now and where you need to be. A real financial plan works exactly the same way. It's not a list of savings goals. It's a map of every trap, every invisible leak, every current that's working against your financial security right now. And most people have never made one. In the next few minutes, we're going to walk through what that map actually looks like, and why, without it, even the most disciplined families eventually find themselves back at zero. Here's the number that changes everything. Only 36% of Americans have a written financial plan, not a mental note, not a rough idea. A written plan. The rest are navigating by memory, by habit, and by quietly hoping things stay stable long enough to figure it out later. The cost of that gap is invisible until it isn't. The refrigerator that breaks in January, the transmission that goes in March, the medical bill that arrives in June and wipes out 4 months of careful saving in a single afternoon. None of those things are catastrophes in isolation, but without a financial plan, every single one of them becomes an emergency. Because when you don't have a map, you don't know your position, you only know where you've been. The first thing a real map does is tell you exactly where you are right now. Not where you think you are, not where you were 6 months ago, your actual position today. Most people know roughly what they earn. Very few know with precision how much actually leaves their hands every single month. There's a difference between income and real cash flow, and that difference in most households is exactly where the financial leak lives. This isn't about the expensive dinner. It's about the $14.99 subscription you stop thinking about, the insurance premium that auto-renews, the gym membership that quietly bills on the third. These aren't large numbers, but they're consistent, and consistency is what makes them destructive. Over 10 years, small invisible expenses compound into something that looks from the outside like a savings problem when it's actually a visibility problem. Before anything else in your personal finance plan matters, you need a precise picture of your current position. That's the X on the map, the dot that says you are here. Without it, every step forward is a guess dressed as a plan. Here's where most financial planning advice gets it completely backwards. The first thing most advice tells you to do is set your goals. Save for retirement, build an emergency fund, pay down debt. These things matter enormously, but they're the destination on the map, and most people try to navigate toward the destination before they've mapped the dangers. What are the dangers in personal finance? They're the scenarios that can erase years of savings in days: an unexpected job loss, a medical crisis, an uninsured liability, a market correction that hits your retirement account at exactly the wrong moment. A family earning $75,000 a year with zero emergency savings is financially one event away from a debt spiral, even if they're doing everything right, saving consistently, paying their bills on time, not living beyond their means. The map isn't missing the goals, it's missing the dangers. And a map without dangers isn't navigation, it's optimism. Now here's the part that reorganizes how most people think about this, because it changes the entire picture. A financial plan is not primarily about money, it's about decisions. Think about how a doctor creates a health plan. They don't write "be healthy." They create a document that answers specific questions before the crisis arrives. If this threshold is crossed, here is the protocol. If this condition develops, here is the next step. The plan removes the need to make high-stakes decisions in moments of panic. Your financial plan does exactly that. It answers the question, when life disrupts the routine, and it will, what do I do next? How much liquid savings do I need before I start investing? What happens if I lose my primary income for 6 months? At what point do I stop adding to discretionary spending and redirect everything to my emergency fund? The plan isn't about accumulating wealth. It's about removing the decisions that, made in fear or urgency, quietly destroy it. There are 3 financial traps that appear on almost no one's personal financial plan, and they're responsible for more middle-class setbacks than almost anything else. The first is insurance exposure. Most families carry whatever coverage they were sold when they bought the car or the house. Very few have ever asked, if something goes wrong tomorrow, are my actual financial obligations fully covered? The gap between what's insured and what's owed is not a small one. For many families, it's the entire difference between a temporary setback and a permanent financial scar. The second trap is lifestyle inflation. When income rises, spending tends to rise with it, not dramatically but consistently. The slight housing upgrade, the slightly better car, the small subscription added here, the modest vacation upgrade there. None of it feels like a decision, all of it compounds. Families earning twice what they earned 10 years ago often feel no more financially secure because the financial plan never grew alongside the income. The third is the most invisible: no succession for your financial knowledge. Most families have one person who understands the full picture. One person who knows where the accounts are, what the insurance covers, what the actual plan is. That creates a single point of failure. And single points of failure in any system are the most likely place for that system to break. If you're recognizing some of these things, the absence of a written plan, the uncovered risks, the reliance on memory instead of structure, the natural response is to feel overwhelmed. Like the list is too long, like the gap is too large. That feeling is exactly why most people never build a real financial security plan. Not because they can't, because looking clearly at your actual position, the distance to safety feels terrifying. But here's what the map shows you that the fog doesn't: you are almost always closer than you think. The real purpose of a financial plan isn't to eliminate every risk. It's to make risks visible, manageable, and sequenced. Sequenced, that word is the one most people miss. Most people try to fix everything simultaneously, pay off debt and build savings and invest and address the insurance gaps and increase income all at once. Because they try to do everything, the weight of it stalls them, and nothing moves. A real financial planning process sequences the work. Right now, the most important move is this one thing, not because everything else doesn't matter, but because you can't defend a position you can't hold. A small, stable, protected foundation is worth more than an ambitious plan that collapses the first time life disrupts your routine. The sequence most protection-focused financial advisors recommend looks like this. First, build a $1,000 emergency buffer while maintaining minimums on everything else. Not because $1,000 is enough, but because it's the difference between a setback and a crisis. Second, identify your highest uninsured risk exposure and address it. Third, eliminate high-interest consumer debt, not investment debt, consumer debt, because that's the leak costing you the most per month. Fourth, build your emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of actual expenses. Fifth, only then, begin to invest the portion of income you've freed up. No algorithm, no shortcut, but a sequence, and a sequence is a map. When you put a real financial plan on paper, not a mental framework, but a written document that maps your current position, identifies your vulnerabilities, and sequences your next moves, something shifts that has nothing to do with numbers. The low-grade financial anxiety most people carry has a specific source. It's not the debt, it's not the balance, it's the not knowing. The plan doesn't remove the obstacles, it illuminates them, and what's illuminated can be navigated. Financial security isn't a number in a bank account. It's a feeling, the specific feeling of knowing that if something goes wrong, you know exactly what you do next. The sailors who mastered dead reckoning, the navigation technique used for centuries before modern instruments, didn't need clear skies or perfect conditions. They used their last known position, their speed, the known dangers of the water, and a written chart to calculate exactly where they were and what move to make next. They were sometimes wrong in the details, but they were almost never lost. Your financial plan is your dead reckoning. It won't eliminate storms, but when the weather changes, and it always does, you'll know your position, you'll know your next move, and you'll know with a clarity most people never find that what you've built is protected. Start with one sheet of paper. Write down your actual monthly cash flow, the real number, not the estimate. Write down the 3 biggest financial risks in your life right now that aren't covered by savings or insurance. Write down the one move that, made this month, would reduce your vulnerability the most. That's your first map. It won't be perfect, but it will be the most important financial document you've ever made. If this changed how you see your personal finance planning, subscribe. There's more where this came from.